overcoming the barriers, and of course, dreaming big. Now I'd like to introduce our magnificent panel today. Sophia Fairweather is our 2017 Woman of Inspiration Millennial Leader. She is also the moderator of the Peer-to-Peer Jam. We have Kaiya, who is our 2019 Woman of Inspiration from Calgary, Alberta, our 2019 Woman of Inspiration Youth Excellence. And we have joining us today, Zafina Zaman, who is our 2021 Woman of Inspiration Youth Excellence Award winner for this year. So ladies, I'm super excited to have our role model joining us here today. Of course, the Honourable former Mayor, the City of Mississauga, Hazel Hurricane McCallion. Hazel, it is such a pleasure and an honor to have you join the Peer-to-Peer Jam and Role Model Talk to share your leadership journey with these young women today. So thank you for joining us. And Sophia, I'm going to welcome you to the stage, and I'm going to turn over the keys to you.
All right, thank you so much, Monica, for the introduction. And yeah, now I have the great pleasure of just introducing Hazel McCallion. So Hazel McCallion, she's a businesswoman, athlete, politician, and was mayor of Mississauga from 1978 to 2014, which makes her one of Canada's longest serving mayors, with her being in office for 12 consecutive terms in Mississauga. Since her departure from politics, she's been appointed Councillor of Sheridan College and Special Advisor to the Principal of the University of Toronto, Mississauga. She's also become an outspoken advocate for seniors and against age discrimination towards the elderly. Other than her achievements in being mayor, she's also been the president of the Streetsville and District Chamber of Commerce, is the president of the Anglican Youth Pupils Association of Canada, and founder and honorary co-chair of the Greater Toronto Marketing Alliance, and holds annual galas in Mississauga to raise money for art and culture in the city. And probably one of my favorites is, lastly, she's responsible for the formation of Hazel's Hope, which is a campaign to fund healthcare for children afflicted with AIDS and HIV in Southern Africa. And after going through that bio, and of course, Monica's bio as well, I think you can understand why I thought Hazel would be amazing to learn from. And I'm super excited to ask my questions to Hazel. And if anyone listening has any questions, I recommend you put them down to the comments just so we can get to them later. And with that, good afternoon, Hazel, and thank you so much for being with me today. What have been the milestones in your journey to allow you to gain the knowledge that you've been able to gain?
Well, I don't know what the milestones are. I don't know what you mean by the milestones. I've been in the private sector and then retired and got into the public sector. I don't know what you mean by milestones. I really don't.
Oh, possibly. What were some decisions that you've made throughout your life? Like, for instance, becoming a mayor and other really big decisions that you've made? Like, what are some of them, and what were the lessons that you learned from them?
Well, I left home at the age of 14 to take my last year of education in Quebec City, went to Montreal, took my business course, and then went to work. And there was no decision to be made. My mom and dad, I was a depression kid. They had no money, so I had to make my way on my own. So I did it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you would need the independence, and yeah, coming from coming from the depression, it was a rough time. That makes, yeah, you would need to be able to make a path by yourself. And to just understand your mindset a little bit more, why did you decide to become a mayor and a founder and a co-chair of many other organizations?
Well, I decided that I wanted to have an interesting life on earth. And so I worked in the business community, and then I left the business community after 20 some years and went into public office, and was in a public office for 40 some years. And the decision I made was I wanted to contribute. I wanted to see what I could contribute to the good of people and the good of the communities and the good of the country.
That is a really great passion to dedicate yourself towards. And it's good that you're able to, and you obviously have made a lot of impact. And to just because you've had some really amazing experiences, what would you recommend to youth out there and listening to this event to adventure and be okay with stepping out their comfort zone and doing something that is fun and possibly will help them, but is different?
Well, if they want to contribute, they have to search out what they're interested in and get involved in an organization, or get involved in politics, or get involved, create their own business. It's entirely up to the individual as to how they want to journey through life. Do they want to be a wallflower? They can be a wallflower. Do they want to accomplish things? Then they have to have a plan. What do they want to accomplish in life? Are they just going to be a follower? Or maybe are they going to be a leader? Are they going to make a difference? Or are they just going to be one of our thousands of other people? It's entirely up to the individual what they want to do, what they want to accomplish. Entirely.
Yes, that is really good advice. And I do personally believe that mindset and the individual does make a lot of impact on what to do. And of course, a plan is really important. I've recently really figured that out for learning. And yeah, a plan is really important. And another question about some advice you can share is, what's some information that you didn't think you need to know, or certain traits you didn't know you needed to know to be a founder and a mayor? And throughout your many adventures in the field, what have been the most interesting?
Well, you have to determine that you want to work hard, you want to give it the time, you want to associate with people, find out what they're thinking, keep yourself well informed on what's going on in your community, in your province, in your country, and in the world. Be interested in acquiring knowledge and not just waste your time looking beautiful and dressing beautifully, etc. That's not important in life. What is your desire? What is your plan for the years you're going to be on this earth? What is your plan? What do you want to do? You want to accomplish something, or you just want to be a follower? You want to be a leader? You want to contribute, that you can look back and say, well, I did accomplish things. I helped organizations. I helped people. It's entirely up to the individual.
Yeah, 100% agree. And oh, sorry, did you say something?
I say, you have to decide you're on this earth for, and you have to have a purpose.
Mhm.
What is your purpose in life? Is it just to be a follower and just do things with no plan, no vision, no desire to contribute and to leave something behind when you leave this earth?
Yeah, because everyone that comes on earth, they are able to make their own impact on it. Like obviously you've been able to do, but of course others, countless others. And for another question also directed towards advice that you can share is there anything that you did or changed or found in your life that helped you gain confidence in yourself, or helped get rid of an imposter syndrome, or the feeling that you're not supposed to be somewhere, that you just learned how to do, and a kind of process or plan that you learned to help yourself with that?
The best thing ever happened to me, I had to leave home at 14 to get my final education away from home, and then I was on my own. And if I wasn't independent and determined to be a success, I would have been a failure. Simple as that.
Yeah, education is really important.
Well,
Just sort of,
no, I'm only, I got all kinds of degrees after my name. They're all honorary. I'm a high school graduate. I never went to university or Sheridan College. I'm chancellor of Sheridan College. I never went to college. I'm an advisor to the University of Toronto. I never went to university. And I've got honorary degree in engineering, in business, in sacred letters, and in technology. All degrees after my name, free of charge.
That is really impressive. Did it happen because they reached out to you and they thought that having you under their university or college would be a good idea?
I don't know. How do I know why they did it? I assume they recognized my contribution. I assume. I don't think they did it just for fun.
No, that makes, yeah, that's what I'm supposing.
They don't give an honorary degree to everybody.
No, they don't. No. And for the last question on advice you can share is, if you were to spend more time building more skills, passion, connection, or grit, and of course, etc., which one would you focus on? And when you were younger, which one did you most focus towards?
What? Ask the question again.
Is there, right now, are you focusing towards building your skills, your passion, your connections, or grit, and of course other traits as well? And when you were younger, which ones did you focus on the most?
I just focused on being independent and being a success and working hard and accomplishing and acquiring as much knowledge as I could, developing friends, seeking advice and from friends and professional people, etc.
So yeah, mostly connections and grit, or skills, I suppose you focused on when you were younger.
Skills?
Yeah. And not as in just education, but just in general skills.
What do you mean by skills?
Like for instance, education gives you skills, but there's also like construction skills, really anything that you learn how to do.
What do you mean? Skills? Well, I don't know, learning to be a success is finding out how you can be a success in anything that you undertake to do. I don't know, skills. I don't understand your question.
All right, yeah, that's all right, yeah. But you did give some really good, a really good answer towards it, and it's definitely helpful for those listening, and of course for me and everyone else in this event. And for the last question that I have on here that's a little bit more of a fun one is there a quote or person that really inspires you, and why?
Is there a person that inspires me, and why?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah, right now, or it could be someone that inspired you in the past.
Well, the person who inspired me as a kid, which has followed me through my life, was my mother.
Why did she inspire? Was it because she was able to be resourceful and independent?
No, she was a very accomplished individual. She sang beautifully. She was a pianist, and she inspired me to accomplish to work. She inspired me to work hard, to be independent, and to anything that I undertook to do, to make sure I worked hard to make it a success.
That's a really good lesson learned, and it makes a lot of sense that you would find your mother really inspiring. I find my dad's pretty inspiring. He really makes sure that I push myself and I find things to be successful in. And to end on that happy note, I'd love to say I enjoyed that I was able to speak with you today and learn from you, of course, and ask these questions. And I hope you succeed and enjoy whatever you do next. All right, Monica, is there anything you'd like to say before we go into the next segment of the event?
Well, I would just like to say, sitting in the audience, watching the dialogue and the conversation, I want to say firstly, Sophia, great job. You always do such a great job. You're so articulate and thoughtful questions. I know that what questions do you ask someone who has experienced such a full life, right? And Hazel, I want to say that, I was, sitting back and listening to your words of wisdom. And I don't think there's any shortcuts in life that you've ever taken. And I think that that's what's so impressive about you and what you pass on to our young learners is in the age of, let's just say, instant gratification, social media, there's always an easier way to do things. And I think that through you sharing your journey, leaving home when you're 14, Sophia, you're 13 now, correct?
Yeah.
Imagine leaving home in 1 year to do it all on your own. Imagine that, right? You're at this age right now where it was like, Hazel went off and she's like, I'm going to figure out a way to do this. And I think what's so interesting, Hazel, is that we have to get back to the basics with our kids. And, there's no easy shortcuts. And, education is not just book smart, it's also street smart. And the resilience that comes from carving down a road, taking a wrong turn, figuring it out, and getting up and dusting yourself and going on. And I just think it's beautiful that you've shared that, because you have such business acumen and drive that is, it's beautiful. So I just want to say thank you.
Well, unfortunately, young people today don't learn that at either college or university.
Mm-hmm.
They acquire knowledge, but they don't know how to use it. And I'm chancellor of Sheridan College, and I emphasize the fact that, yes, education is good, but you got to make use of it. And you don't stop learning. You graduate from high school, you go to college, you graduate, maybe go to university. Life is a full-time education.
And
you never stop learning.
Hazel, what I think you'll find really interesting about our moderator, Sophia, Sophia, how many mayors mayor candidates did you interview over this past several months? Maybe share that little piece with Hazel. I think she'd find that interesting. Hazel, Sophia's a go-getter. She is very planned and organized, comes to the table very prepared, but she also takes on all of these extra projects and throws herself into the network with other women. And like our other young ladies that are sitting in the audience today, Kaiya and Zafina, these are the young leaders that are going to change the world. So I'm really thankful that you were able to share your knowledge. But Sophia, I'd love for you to share a little bit about that with Hazel. I think she'd be really happy to hear.
Well, yes, I suppose. Yeah, it was a little bit of a side project that I took on where I'm in Alberta, Canada. So I interviewed the mayoral candidates for Edmonton, where I am, and also I interviewed mayoral candidates for Calgary. And they were kind of 15-minute little clips that I then put on YouTube and I shared on my social media platforms. But I was able to speak with these mayoral candidates, and Amjit Sohi's the one that won here, and I interviewed him. And also Jody, I forget her last name, interviewed her in Calgary, but she also won, which is really exciting. I think she's the first woman mayor
in 137 years.
Yeah, so yeah, that was really exciting. So it was a really good, the peer-to-peer general model talks helped with helping me learn how to interview people and be a little bit more comfortable with it. So that was a really good experience though.
So you've got a great group of women. I'm going to invite Zafina and Kaiya back to the screen. Did you have any questions for Hazel, ladies? I know that you were all very excited to have the opportunity to meet Hazel. So I thought I'd just say, Kaiya, do you have any questions for Hazel? And anything to add to the conversation today?
Well, first of all, it's just really inspiring because, when you were my age, leaving the house and being so independent, that's just absolutely incredible. So, kudos to you on everything you've accomplished. I'd say, you know, what did you do to sort of get unstuck when in the tougher times of being, all by yourself and building this career, this really successful career for yourself? What did you do to sort of get motivated when you were, feeling a little more negative?
Well, of course, I had a elder sister that was a teacher, and I depended on her a lot for advice. And but I was on my own. I had to. My two sisters put me through my through high school, because my mom and dad couldn't afford to pay for me to go to high school in Quebec City. I was born on the Gaspé Coast, and they put me through school. Then they paid for me to get my business course. Then I was on my own. I earned my first job. I was paid $12 a week. I paid $8 boarding in Montreal. I spent $2 on transit because it was a very low fare then. And I put $2 away in the bank. Now, what kid could live on $12 a week? But I couldn't phone home for money. They had no money to send me. So I was forced to become independent and look after myself. And so that's the best thing that ever happened to me. So that has been the way through life. Very independent, making sure that I am not dependent on or being lucky. I made sure that I planned my life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Hazel. And how about yourself, Zafina? I know that you're really excited to have the opportunity. You're a motivational speaker. You're into a whole bunch of stuff. Is there anything that you'd like to add or share with Hazel?
Sure. Yeah, I'd first of all love to say that is really an inspiring story. I can see the resilience in you, the amount of courage that you've had to have to leave the house at 14 years old, such a young age, right? And here you are, right? So successful, very inspirational. I just like to say that. So my question is, how did you find the courage in yourself to step up and do all these things at such a young age? Where did you find the courage? What did you do?
Well, I wanted to get involved in things. As a young person, became the first female president of the Anglican Young People's Association of Canada, because I'm a Christian and belong to the Anglican Church. I joined it in Toronto at St. Michael All Angels. I rose to be the national president of the association. How do you do that? Not by just being a member or taking advantage of the opportunity of taking advantage of being a member of the association. I learned all about the association. I contributed, and then I got recognized and saying, maybe you should be the national president of the youth organization. Then I was chosen to attend the Second World Conference of Christian Youth in Oslo, Norway, representing the Anglican Church. How do you do that? Working hard. When I became a member of the association, I didn't just sit and go to the meetings and sit and talk to people. I contributed. You got to contribute. You got to get involved. How did I become mayor? My husband and I moved to Streetsville. I joined the Chamber of Commerce, became president. Then the mayor asked me, you should run for council. You're interested in the community. And then I ran for mayor of Streetsville. And then when the city of Mississauga was formed, I ran for mayor of the city. It's all in what you want to do, what your desire is. Nobody can push you. You have to push yourself and have the desire. You got to have the desire. If you don't want to accomplish things, then you just follow along. I wanted to do when I joined any organization, I wanted to contribute. And every organization I joined, I rose to be president. Isn't that interesting? Don't know why. Working hard, giving it the time, being interested, being dedicated. That's what it's all about. How did I become mayor of Mississauga? I had to convince a lot of people to vote for me.
And they did every
It's
single
all-
year.
It's all within yourself.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
And I have to commend all of you ladies that are here on the call today, because Hazel, all of these young women are part of the peer-to-peer jam role model talk. They volunteer. They want to build something. They want to make an impact.
Yeah.
And this is the way that we're going to make an impact, is by empowering our youth and gaining the insights from our leaders from diverse industries. And so I just want to say, ladies, you know, when Hazel's talking and saying be independent, participate, get involved, take initiatives, each one of you has that drive and ambition in each of those things that you do. From, you know, Zafina, raising and building girls' schools in Africa, you know, being youth ambassadors, Sophia, you know, like all of these beautiful things, Kaiya, writing your own songs, producing them, and doing charity fundraisers. Like, you ladies are inspiring the youth. And Hazel, what you've just shared today is reconfirming that they're on the right path.
Yeah.
And now let's bring more women, let's bring more young girls up.
It's, you know, I love to address the graduation classes of Sheridan College. And I say to them, Sheridan has prepared you at this point with a good education. Yeah, and don't stop learning. Your education is only begun now that you're a graduate. So don't stop learning, because you never stop learning during your entire life. I'm 100, I'm still learning. Okay. Secondly, have a plan. What do you want to do with your life? You know, you can't build a plan, you can't build a building without a plan. I couldn't build a city without a plan. We had to have a plan. We had to know where the residential was going to be, where the roads were going to be, where the parks would be, where the schools would be. It's a plan. No different to your life. You can't build anything without a plan, and you can't build your life without a plan.
Or a support network, right? And, you know, I think even the valuable connections that we're able to build within leaders and getting involved. I think I just shared that you all have LinkedIn profiles. Like, that's taking initiative and building your network in your community, which is so important, but it does take time. And you could be out doing something that's not benefiting you, but your network and those tools and resources and that support system that you're going to be building in your life, you're leaps and bounds ahead if you start doing it now. So I just want to say I'm so proud of each and every one of you. And Hazel, I'm just so grateful. I think there's lots of work to do, and we'd love you to be a part of building out the peer-to-peer jam role model talks and the UWN youth program as much as you'd love to get involved. I think your voice is, you know, what we need, right, for our youth.
Okay.
So thank you so much. I just want to say it's late. I really appreciate everybody taking their time today. Sophia, we're going to wrap up. This was a unique, really intimate opportunity that we had to share with Hazel today. And we'll take one group picture, Hazel, before you rush off, that I'm going to send up with the girls. So we'll have one quick photo. We leave everything. We always leave our jams with a group shot because when we record it, it's only individual pictures. So, all right, we'll get one great big shot and I'll share it with everybody. Thank you so much again, Sophia, beautiful job. Zafina, great to have you join Kaiya, and of course, Hazel, we are so honored for you to take time today to share your valuable knowledge.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hazel.